Hello everyone, and welcome back to the STEM project, the Students Taking on Environmental Matters project. I'm Krista Hodges and I work for the Dan River Basin Association. We are doing a program in partnership with the STEM Academy in Pittsylvania County through a grant from the Virginia Environmental Endowment. It's their Community Conservation Fund. And if you remember, we did water quality testing in the fall. And now we are doing a comparison from our fall water quality results to some spring, early spring water quality results here at the Danville Science Center at their water quality monitoring site. Alright, so we are going to do our water quality testing today, and you guys should have received a packet with some supplies for you to use. And in that packet you should have some pH test strips. So you should have 2 of these. And to go with the pH test strips, hopefully you still have your wide range pH test chart. So that should be your chart that you used from the fall. And then in addition to that, you should have a Secchi disc sticker, which you're going to place in a cup. We'll talk about that in a minute. If you do not still have your cup from the fall, you'll be able to place this in a cup and use it for today. And then you should have from the fall your turbidity chart. So this is the chart that you'll be using to measure the turbidity of the water. And then finally, you should have a water monitoring field data sheet. So it should look something like that, and that's what we are going to use to compare your fall results to your spring results. And hopefully you guys still have your fall sheets from comparing your results. I have my sheet from the fall here that has the information that we collected from using this site in the fall. So we'll talk a little bit about that and compare our results today. We are going to use the Danville Science Center site for our water quality collection and testing today. So I'm going to use this bucket here and this system here that is set up ready for us. We're going to throw the bucket out into the water. We're going to collect some of the water from the Dan River, and then we are going to go ahead and start our spring water quality testing. See here, I got the bucket, we've got the station here, and we're just going to throw it out into the Dan River. Today is February 24th, 2021, and you can see that it is a beautiful day today. It's in February, but it is an unusually warm day today. The temperature is about 64 degrees. The skies are pretty and blue, no clouds in the sky. It's sunny today. And you can look at the water. It is a bit turbid today, and the reason for that is probably coming from ice melt. We had, if you guys remember, we've had a lot of ice and some snow over the past 2 weeks. So it's probably a lot of ice melting up in the mountains, which is causing the Danville area, the Dan River, to be a little bit more murky than usual. But we have not had any rain within the past 24 hours. And you can see that we are seeing some geese again today. We saw some geese in the fall. So that's one thing that we're going to note on our field data sheet. Alright, so for our fall sampling, we sampled this in October of 2020. We came to the Science Center and collected water. And on that particular day, it was sunny outside. We had gotten 3/4 of an inch of rain within the past 24 hours. The water color was muddy. The water temperature was 70 degrees, air temperature was 65 degrees Fahrenheit, the turbidity was 40 JTU, pH was 6.5, and we saw some geese on that particular day. So let's go ahead and do our testing of our water sample that we just collected, and we are going to see what our spring results are. Alright, if you have your field data sheet and you're ready to start following along, you can go ahead and put your name. And the site is the Dan River. It's at the Danville Science Center. And then today's date is February 24th, 2021. Now, the weather type for today is sunny. Remember, we said it's a beautiful day. So we're going to go ahead and circle that. And we have had 0 inches of rainfall within the past 24 hours. However, our watercolor, you saw it just a minute ago, the watercolor is muddy, just like it was in the fall. Now the difference from the fall is that we had actually received some rain within the past 24 hours. But I was just telling you that even though we haven't received any rain within the past 24 hours, our Dan River is turbid, it's muddy looking. And the reason for that is the ice melt that we've had. Ice melt and snow melt from the past 2 weeks is going downstream from up in the mountains, and it's affecting the area down here, making it look more turbid. So let's go ahead and take our water temperature and our air temperature for today. Now before we started this, I checked my phone for the air temperature, and it is currently 64 degrees Fahrenheit outside. Very unusual warm day for February. This is our thermometer that we are going to use to test the temperature of the water. This is the same one that we used in the fall. You can see that it has the temperature, the current temperature on there for outside, and it's showing about 70 degrees right now, and that's in the sun. A little bit cooler with the breeze going right now, but we're going to go ahead and put this in our water sample that we collected and see what the water temperature is. So I'm going to put this down in here. I'm going to let it sit for about maybe 3 or 4 minutes. Now, one thing to note, in the fall, our water temperature and our air temperature was very close to the same temperature. But since we've had a lot of ice melt, we would expect for the water to be what? A lot colder than our air temperature, right? Because we've got some ice melting in there. It's probably going to be a lot cooler than the air. It's probably going to be in the 30s or 40s. So let's just let this sit for about 3 or 4 minutes, and we'll see what the temperature is. Alright, so we've been letting this sit for about 3 or 4 minutes, and it's saying that the temperature of the water is about 48 degrees. Just a little bit below 50 there. So temperature of the water is 48 degrees, so we're going to go ahead and mark that down on our sheet. So 48 degrees Fahrenheit. Alright, so now we are going to go ahead and do our turbidity. So if you have your turbidity sticker, this is your Secchi disc, and we are going to place it in the bottom of a cup. So you can get if you have a red Solo plastic cup, or just a plastic cup that you can use at your house, you can go ahead and get it. Now I still have the same one from the fall. So you're going to go ahead and put your sticker down in there, place it on the bottom, and then we are going to collect a sample of water from our water sample here, and we're going to fill it up to about 4 inches. Alright, so I filled it up to about 4 inches, so we're going to check our turbidity value here. So using your turbidity chart, you will compare it to the water that you've collected from your sample. Now if you don't have your turbidity chart, you can just use here on the screen and check your turbidity levels when you do your comparison. You have this level right here, which is 100 JTU. This is when the water is really, really turbid. So that color at the bottom there is going to be very, very light gray instead of a black on your Secchi disc. Now if the water is slightly turbid, it's going to be 40 JTU. That black is going to be just a little bit of a dark gray color. And then 0 JTU is when the water is not turbid at all. So we do have some turbidity in the water today. So if you take your chart and compare it to your sample here, you can see that this one most matches 40 JTU. So that's actually the same thing that we got in the fall, but we are going to go ahead and record that as our result for today on our sheet. Alright, so last thing to compare is pH. So we're going to test our pH level of the water, and we have our wide range pH chart here. If you remember, the 7 is neutral, so that is what we hope to see. That's what you want your drinking water to be. If it's more acidic, it's going to be more like a lemon, and then if it's more basic, it's going to be more of a basic level, like some like baking soda or something like that. So let's go ahead and check our pH level. So you're going to take your pH test strip, and I'm going to put it down in here to test the pH level. Now you guys, down at the bottom of this chart, you're going to do a comparison like you did in the fall of 2 water samples. We'll go over that more in a minute. Now we're leaving this in here for about 30 seconds or so, and then we will compare it to our chart. Alright, after about 30 seconds of this sitting in the water, I pulled it out, and you can see that it is a light orange color. Comparing it to our chart here, it's probably more between a 6 and a 7 instead of just being on the 7. So I'm going to put our pH for today as a 6.5. And you can see between the test strips here, this is the one that I didn't use and this is the one that I did use. You can see that it did change just a little bit. Alright, so 6.5 as the pH for today. I'm also going to note that we did see some geese around here again as the wildlife. I'm also going to note that it is a particularly windy day. So after checking around the area a little bit right here where we've been sampling, you can see that there is some litter here that has been washed up. This litter probably come from flooding, from the water level getting up and just carrying some of this litter down from upstream. So this is another thing that we are going to note on our field data sheet, is if there is some litter just kind of strode around the area. If you guys ever see any of this, always try to do your part and clean it up and make it a better area for others to use. Alright, so we've noted on our field data sheet here that we've seen some litter in the area as well. And like I said, that probably came from flooding. So now you guys are going to do the student section. This is the part where you're going to do hands-on water quality testing at your home or at school, whichever one you are at. So what you're going to do, if you remember from the fall, you were to use 2 samples of water and compare them. They could be tap water, maybe your neighbor's tap water compared to your tap water at your home, rainwater, or if you could safely access a stream, then you could use that to compare your 2 sites. Now, if you're at home and you just want to use tap water, that's okay. You can do that. If you know it's going to rain maybe the day before you're going to do your sheet, then you can set out a cup and collect some rainwater to do your comparison. So you will use your test strips to do the pH and compare that to the test chart. And then you will take your turbidity sticker and put it down in the cup and compare it to your turbidity chart to see the turbidity level. So hopefully you guys remember doing that from the fall. Alright, so what's coming up now that you guys have done your fall and your spring water quality testing and your comparison of either your tap water or your rainwater or your neighbor's tap water or even stream water if you can safely access it. What's coming up next? Now, your schools have actually received a stream table kit that you guys are hopefully going to be able to use in the classroom. You're going to use that stream table kit to do erosion. You're going to compare erosion, and you're going to use an activity with that to see how erosion changes, maybe do some farm contouring, and it's going to be a really cool kit for you guys to use. I hope you're going to learn some more about how erosion works and how rivers can change the banks and stuff. I hope that's going to give you a little bit of a learning opportunity. Now, what else is coming up? Now that we've done the water quality testing, you guys are actually going to do another activity in April that's called Survivor Science. This is going to be a really, really fun activity. You guys are going to create a water filtration setup using a soda bottle. If you have a 16-ounce soda bottle, when you watch this, hold on to that because you're going to need this for your April activity. So with this activity, you'll receive it and you'll complete it in April. It's going to be really, really fun. Like I said, it's a survivor science, so it's going to be about you being stranded out on a trail with no drinking water. So you're going to use the supplies that you get to make your water somewhat, what you would think would be somewhat safe for drinking water. But it's an experiment, so you're going to have to see if that actually works or not. Don't drink the water, though. We don't want to do that. We don't want anyone to get sick. This is just an experiment to see if we can get it cleaned up. Now, after you do your water quality testing of your 2 sites, so you're checking your tap water or your stream water or your river water or your rainwater, I want you guys to hold on to your turbidity, the cup here. I want you to hold on to that with the Secchi disc in the bottom, because you're going to use that for your water filtration activity. Very important to hold on to that. Alright, to wrap up the STEM project for the spring, after the water quality testing and using your stream table kit, DRBA is going to share a video with you guys on threats to the basin. So this is environmental threats that are happening in our area. We're excited to be sharing that with you guys, hopefully in April or May. Hopefully you'll get to view that and enjoy kind of just learning what the threats are to the basin. That way you guys will be a little bit more aware about the community and what's going on here and feel a little bit more knowledgeable yourself. And in addition to that, you guys, we're going to ask that you guys complete a post-test. You guys did a pre-test in the fall, and then you're going to complete a post-test this spring. And in that post-test, we're going to be asking you about your knowledge and how your knowledge has changed or maybe not changed, or how it has improved through your experience with this project. So we're excited to learn more about what your thoughts are on this project. And if you guys will, DRBA and the STEM Academy would like to thank Virginia Environmental Endowment for making this grant opportunity possible. We are going to follow you guys, the 6th grade students, into your 7th grade year. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next school year. And we would also like to thank the Danville Science Center for letting us use the water quality monitoring station for the fall and spring water quality testing. Thank you guys. We'll see you in the fall. Bye.